Okay, at all of your desks, each captain has a bucket with different materials in it. The only person that should be taking those things out are the captains. Captains, right now, inside of your bucket, there are some little pieces of paper that have fractions on them. They should be right on top if nobody was messing with the bucket. So go ahead and take your bucket and find the little pieces that look like this. Okay, what you are going to do with your group, you are going to take those pieces and you are going to put them into categories. The categories could be wholes, halves, fourths, thirds, sixths, okay, whatever they're divided into. Or you might have another way of categorizing the pieces that are there. So right now with your group, I want you to put your heads together and I want you to categorize all of the pieces. Go ahead. So what makes you think that is an equivalent fraction?
Because
So you think that's 2/3, and what do you think it is? So what would that one be? Okay.
let's see. And this will be. I'm still not sure. Okay, so this is how we categorize. I'll take the 4. Now whatever shape it is. That's a 6. That's a 4. 3, 4, 6, 4. Let's put them all together. Wait, who has that? So you get These are 2. Who gets the squares? I think this guy gets the squares. Put them on my desk because you get the squares. Put them on my desk just because. Oh yeah, that's yours. I'll take all the like odd shapes. Yeah.
Wait, who gets the squares? Should we just put it on like pencils?
So how else could we? Yeah, just put them on pencils, I guess.
And what do we do with the rest random stuff? Oh, the heart.
Yeah, the hearts. Oh yeah, Adrian gets the hearts.
I'm going to give you about 1 more minute to have all of your categories ready to present to the class.
We can do it like.
How about the 1/6?
This is
the
a
lonely
6.
1/6.
Why do we do it like denominator?
The lonely Should we just do it like how we just? Should we just do it how we were doing it?
Now halves.
Okay. We should do it like how we were doing it.
Just put all the halves.
How about we do like
All the you put all the fours.
I need the half. How about we do the 4s with 4s, 1s with holes with holes, hats with hats. What I'm saying is, look.
No.
Okay then. The holes. We got the holes down. These are fours. No, these are thirds. Sorry.
Do you see? So let's look at these
I'm not saying
pieces.
going into the third.
Okay, so let's talk about this. So this one was over here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so why do you think that it doesn't belong there? What do you think?
Because there's 6 parts.
There's 6 parts, okay? So someone that thinks it does belong here, why do you think it belongs there?
Because you can reduce it into 1/3. No, 2/3.
2/3, okay? So are all of these here 2/3?
Well, we're separating it by denominator.
Okay.
This is a half.
So you already reduced this to 2/3,
Yeah.
okay? And so you're saying that everything over here is going to be in a third,
Look, yeah.
okay? So what about this one over here? Is that going to be by itself?
We're doing them by denominators, by
Okay.
the denominator, and then there's sort of like. So this should go with the fourths. Both fourths.
Okay.
And since there's 6 in this one, there should be 6 in that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so is that what you think? Okay. So when we present to the class, is that something that your group would be willing to explain to us? Sure. Why it could fit into 2 different categories? Okay. All right, can I have your attention, please? Show me active listening. Okay, thank you for those of you that have the zero noise sign up. Okay, what I would like us to do now is I am going to call on a couple groups, and I want you to share with us what categories did you come up with. And I just want you to share one category. And I was talking with the group up here, okay, Western, and they said that they would be willing to start for us and to explain something. So, Kalal, could you bring up your thirds, and Elle, will you bring up your sixths that you guys came up with? And bring them up here to the projector. Okay? And I want you to listen, and I want to see if you agree or if you disagree on how they came up with their categories. So I want all eyes up here right now. Go ahead and look at the whiteboard, and they're going to show you what they did.
So, we were doing them by sixths and fourths and
But we were doing it by denominators.
yeah.
What's a denominator?
The bottom part of the fraction.
Okay, so the bottom.
It's the number of parts in the whole.
Okay, the number of parts in the whole. So, is this the separation here? Do I have it right?
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure that we could see it up here. So, tell us, it was this piece right here.
Yeah.
It could go in either.
It
Okay.
could go in either because this could be 2/3.
If you reduce it.
Okay, so what would it be if we didn't reduce it?
4/6.
4/6. Okay, so does everybody see how this piece right here it is divided into 6 parts, right? Okay, so all of these other pieces are also divided into 6 parts. All right, now they said they could put this piece up here. Let's see if I put it right there. Because they're saying that this also looks like it could be 3 parts if they were to reduce the fractions. So that's telling me that they know some information about fractions that some of us may not know yet. Okay? So they're saying this looks like it would be 2/3. It looks very similar to this size, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you for sharing. Go ahead and take those back to your seat. Is there another group? And actually, I'm going to call a group to bring theirs up. And I'm going to use our sticks. And I have WSU, which is this pod right here. And I'm going to have number 2. Who's number 2? Okay, Caleb, will you bring up one of your categories and tell us why everything goes in that category? So just grab one of your categories. Okay. And bring it up to the projector and tell us why all of those pieces are together. Okay? This way, so you can see. Just have anything in front of it. There you go. Okay, so why are these all in this category? How did you decide?
Well, my group decided did this because one of them because they're fully colored in.
Okay, so that would make them what?
Holes.
Holes. Okay, and I was talking to their group earlier, and they noticed that some of them were divided. This one's divided into halves. Okay, this one is divided into 6. But you guys came up with they all were colored in, so they also make one whole. So you guys changed your mind, didn't you? About how you were going to classify them? Okay, captains, would you quickly take these and put them all back together and put the paper clip back on them? Thank you. Okay. And what I would like you to do is to focus your attention over here to the word wall. So, today's word that we're going to work with is equivalent. Say it. Equivalent. Say it to the door. Equivalent. Say it to the cougar. Equivalent. Say it to the cat. Equivalent. Say it to your neighbor. Equivalent. All right. Say it to the world. Equivalent. All right, my friends. Now, I want you to raise your hand if you have heard this word before. If you've heard it before, we've got 15 people that have heard this word before. How many of you, this is going to be a new word that you're going to learn today? Raise your hand if it's a new word for you today. Okay, we've got 5 people. Okay. That means they've never heard it. Okay, so I want you to think about maybe where you've heard this word before, and I want you to put your heads together, and I want you to come up with a definition. What do you think this word means? Heads together.
So I think it means like sort of equal.
Why do you think it means equal?
So because it's equivalent, so it means like equal fractions. Equal part or something.
I've heard it.
I found it in the other class.
Okay, show me after listening. Captains, would you please stand up? You're going to tell us what did your group come up with. So, Yahaira, what did your group come up with? Okay, same shape, same size, equal. Okay, thank you for sharing.
Our group came up with like there's 5 people in our group, and so we could like divide it into 5/5, so
Okay.
that can make it all equal.
Okay. And Emmanuel? Or Cheyenne, I'm sorry. Cheyenne.
An equal part of something.
Equal parts. Okay. Now Emmanuel. Sorry.
1/2 and 3/6 are equal.
Okay. So today our word that we're using equivalent, I am going to have us say same size. Okay? And this is what I want you to do. We're going to say equivalent, and I want you to make the equal sign like this. Equivalent. Same size. Equivalent. Let's do it again. Equivalent. Same size. Equivalent. Thank you. Okay, now I want us to go over here to our goal for the day. And our goal is I can make equivalent fractions. I want you to put your heads together. What does that mean? What does it mean?
One half and 2/3, or 5/10 and 1/2.
Yeah, so those are like,
Or like 1/3 and 3/9. Or the same.
like
what Emmanuel said.
6 12, like you could do 6 12 and 3 6.
Those are equal
Like
fractions.
our thing where we were.
Okay, show me active listening. I love that I'm seeing everybody participating. Okay, so here we're going to Central, right over here. And person number 1. Who's number 1? Okay, why, or what does this mean? I can make equivalent fractions. What does it mean?
Equals fractions.
Okay, to make equal fractions. Okay, I'm going to pull one more group. We're going to go to Eastern in the back there. And it's number 6.
So what equal fraction is like two halves, right? And one whole equals the same amount. So it's going to be equal. So that's like equal fraction.
Okay, so equal fractions. Okay, what I want you to do right now is I want you to put your heads together and I want you to come up with why is it important for us to learn this? Why is it important for us to learn this?
We're gonna need it in life.
Yes, say we have this big
Like law. If you like work at like elementary school and then people run it like and there's like a different order of people, then you might have to learn
How about if it was a pie?
Yeah, also like
Your children, and let's say you're a parent and you have children that are home, and you need to teach them and you have to cut it like it.
Active listening. All right, we're going to WSU right here in the center. And number 2, why is it important for us to learn this?
It's important for us to learn this because it can help us with fractions in the future.
Okay. Help us with fractions in the future. Okay, I'm going to call on one other group. We're going to go to Eastern and number 4.
That's nobody.
Nobody on 4? Oh, I pulled 4 again. Let's try it one more time. Number 1.
That's you again. For students to get better grades.
Okay, better grades. And I'm also going to add that I heard your group also talking about the SBA. Okay? And I do believe it was Aubrey that was saying that we need to know this for the SBA. Okay, well, I'm going to tell you why really in life we need to know what equivalent fractions are. So in our real life, how I use equivalent fractions is when I am baking or also when I'm cooking. And I've been known to cook for 50 children. children at one time.
What?
And when I am cooking for that many people, I have to know how to increase a recipe, because usually a recipe is only written for a small family, okay? And if I only made the recipe for a small family and I brought it to school and I had to feed 50 of my students, chances are you would not get very much, or you would not get any at all, right?
You only get a crumb.
Yeah, a crumb. So that is why I use equivalent fractions, and also why I have to multiply, and I have to divide fractions as well, okay? So today we're going to start an activity where we're going to find equivalent fractions. What I would like the captains to do right now, would you please pass out a ruler and a yellow strip of paper to everybody in your group? A ruler and a yellow strip of paper. Okay. With this piece of paper, I see people already measuring it. So, Valerie, how many inches are in this piece of paper? 12, okay? So there are 12 inches in this piece of paper. What I want you to do right now is I want you to find the halfway mark. I want you to find the halfway. So where is half?
Should we mark it with
Okay? And go ahead and put a mark on your paper. And we're going vertical. Okay? Actually, not vertical. Horizontal, I'm sorry. This is vertical. Horizontal. Okay? We're going horizontal. Okay?
Inches or what? Inches.
Okay. So, I am going to call on somebody, and I want you to tell me, how did you find the halfway mark? How did you find half of this piece of paper? So, it's going to be a number 5, and now what group is it going to be? Central. So, central number 5. So, Sky, that's you. How did you find the halfway mark?
I measured it.
Okay, and how many inches is it?
6.
Okay, so how many of you also came up with that the halfway mark is 6 inches? Okay, is there anybody else that came up with a different strategy? I'm going to write up here our strategies. So Sky said that he measured it. Okay, so Sky, when you measured it, did you tell me what you did to find out that that was 6 inches?
I put it like right on the end of the piece of paper, and I found 6, and I drew
So how did you know 6 was the halfway?
because 6 times 2 is 12.
6 times 2. Okay, 6 times 2 equals 12. So Sky used multiplication to find out where the halfway mark was. Okay, who else did something different?
I did
Subtraction. Okay.
to do it because 6 minus 12 is 6.
Okay, so 12 minus 6 equals 6. Okay, okay. What else was done? What
I
else?
didn't do this, but you could have like folded your paper in half and then measured on your board about where halfway, like, and then
Okay,
figure out what it
so
was.
you are right. So I'm going to put that down here as another strategy. You could fold your paper. How many of you actually did that? How many of you folded it in half?
Doing it right now.
Okay, okay. Was there another way that you came up with the 6 inches?
You can, what is 12 inches, and you could what's half of 12, and you could have got 12.
So half of 12, so does that mean that you were using division? Yes. Okay, so I'm going to go back up here. So 12 divided by 2 equals 6. So far we've used multiplication and subtraction and division. Did anybody use addition? What did you do, Mason?
I did like, because I know 6 plus 6 is 12, and you do like 12 minus 6. Yeah. Did we just create a fact family?
Okay. So I think so. So these are different ways. You could use measuring and adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, and we could also use the folding strategy. Okay, so I want to show you how I want you to label these today. So I'm going to put my piece up here, and my halfway mark is right here. Okay, I folded it, and I know that this is a half. I also know that this is 6 inches.
Can we just do the little 2 marks?
You could, yes. So what Kalal is saying is, can we put the 2 little marks that mean inches, or you could write IN. Either one is okay. And then at the end here, this is 2 halves. And 2 halves equals how many inches?
Ooh, 12 a whole.
Javier? 1 whole, okay? And how many inches is it though?
12 feet, I mean not 12 feet, 1 foot.
1 foot, which is how many inches?
12 inches.
12 inches, okay. All right, so on your strips today, you're going to label them, okay, like this. So this is my 1/2, this is 2 halves, okay? And you're gonna put inches on the bottom. What I want you to do, captains, would you please give everybody another piece of paper, and this time I want you to use pink. Go ahead and give them a pink piece of paper. Pink. And I want you to divide this piece of paper by 4ths.
Oh, I just
Okay, by 4ths. Okay, go ahead.
I just found what? I guess fractions can help you with measuring. Yeah, I think
So I see lots of different ways. I see people measuring. I see people folding. Yeah, we're doing 4ths. So go ahead and label your piece of paper.
I don't even have to measure. I know how many inches it is. Come on.
Where would we mark it at?
So anybody that has it labeled and would like to share it with our group? Anybody? Okay.
I have it.
Kalik, would you like to bring it up and show us? And will you show us what you did? Okay, so everybody look up here. Okay. So what does this say?
1/4.
Okay, 1/4. And so what should this one right here say?
1/2.
1/2, or how many fourths? 2 fourths. And then this one right here would be?
3/4.
And this would be?
4/4.
Okay, can you go label all of those in fourths and put
I've
the
got
inches
them.
on as well? Okay.
I've got them.
L? Do you have the inches on as well? The fraction and the inches on there? Okay, who has both the fractions and the inches? Kalal? You do too?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at this. So, go ahead. Okay, so we have 1/4 is 3 inches, and we have
2/4.
2/4 is 6 inches.
And then I also put 1/2.
Okay. So I want everybody to look at this real quickly. Okay? Do you see how Kalal took 2/4 and it's right here? Then right next to it he said a half. If I was to take out my ruler, I just happen to have a ruler here. Here's my ruler, and look at where the half mark is. Is this where he wrote the half? Where the half is actually at?
No.
No, it's not. So, Kalal, you're...
That's where I wrote that.
I know. So what I want you to do is think of another way. I know what you did. You reduced this to a half, right? It's an equivalent fraction. But do you see how this could be misleading?
Yeah.
Okay, so where could you put this instead of at the 2/4? Or beside it? Where could you put it? Underneath it, yeah. Because then it would show that it's the same size. So when you go back to your seat, will you do that for me? Okay, and then let's look at the rest. Then, second. Okay, then we have 3/4. Is that correct? Yep, and then we have 4/4.
Yeah.
And 9 inches and 12 inches. All right, nice job.
I didn't even have to measure, I just folded it. And
Okay.
then
So, say that again. Will you tell us? So you folded it, and then you did what?
I skip counted by threes.
Skip counted by
And then
threes.
the 12 divided by 40.
Okay. Is that also your multiples of 3? 3, 6, 9, 12. Nice job. Okay, this is what we're going to do. You have a different way than
Yes.
the what Kalal did? Okay, bring it on up. Do you have it all labeled?
Yes.
Okay,
I was doing it one of color.
perfect. Okay, let's look and see what Nate came up with.
What I came up with, instead of doing fourths, I started at 3/12, and I went 6/12, 9/12, and 12. So I started at 3/12 instead of starting at fourths.
Okay, so what would 3/12 equal? Does anybody know? What would it equal?
1/2.
Okay, let's look.
Wait,
Let's use
no, not 1/2. Like a quarter.
1/4. Yeah, okay, which would be a quarter. So do you see? So really what you're doing is you're actually dividing by, you're putting it into 12 parts. So you actually have your 1/12 and 2/12 missing. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so what I would want you to do here is I would want you to go put the rest of the 12s on here. Okay? But my friend Nate is on to something. He's realizing that there are equivalent fractions already. Okay? So, go ahead and take that back, and I want you to put all the rest of the 12s on that one. What I want you to do right now, and I want everyone to listen. Captains, I'm going to give you guys about 10 minutes. And I want you to give people different pieces of paper with different colors when I tell you the signal word, okay? And I want you to come up with some other ways to divide your fraction strip, okay? So we've already done halves and we've done fourths. So I want you to come up with some other ways to divide your fraction strips. You can work with a partner or you can work with your whole group, okay? So I want everyone to say the signal word with me. Equivalent. Same size. Equivalent. Okay, pass out your papers.
And then there's both. And I don't say it. I don't know it.
No, not 6. Orange.
So, 6.
You know.
You could divide it into. Well, I wouldn't want to hold it on this one because it could be long. So, I use roll.
Okay, so do you see where you misunderstood? Okay, so this is actually a third. This would be 2/3. This would be 3/3. Okay, so now I want you to do one in fourths, okay?
Are we doing fifths?
You could do fifths. So how could you divide that into equal parts?
So,
That'd be a little bit more difficult, wouldn't it? I think we should have some remainders because 5 does not go into 12 evenly.
Already did thirds.
So
Right?
what are
Yeah.
some
I'll do twos.
numbers?
I'll do thirds.
called half.
I'm already doing thirds. I'll do 6. I'll do 6. You do 12.
Wait, 6 will be a half then.
I'll do you do 12. Yeah, you do.
I do twos. My mommy do twos. Dude, I'm already doing twos. Sorry.
2/3. 3/3.
So we're gonna do fifth.
Let's erase. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna get a different piece of paper for you. So let's do this one again. Okay. So how are you gonna take this and divide it into 4 equal parts? Okay. So you're gonna fold it. Is that what you're gonna do? Okay. So fold it in half. Okay, fold your paper in half. Okay. Go ahead and make a little mark there. Okay. Now, what is half of 7? Half of 6. Okay. So this is 3. 6. What's the next one? 9. So now, this is going to be 3 inches, 6 inches, 9 inches, 12 inches. Okay. So the rest of the label the inches. And then I want you to label the fraction. So what did you come up with?
We already did that.
So you have halves and fourths, and now you're going to do 12. Okay.
Oh, yeah,
So,
that's not what we're doing.
okay, so that's what we were doing right here. So you have your half. So I don't see that. Remember when I called you?
Or should we do like 12?
And how many inches? Right, now, that's your half, where's your fourth? So did you divide one into 2? Okay.
It's not on camera. I'm stretching.
So this is thirds. Let's put 1/3 there.
Like 1, 2, 1/3, 10, 3 inches, 6, 9. Whoa. It should be fourths.
Okay.
We should do 4 instead of 3.
Thirds. Okay. Now let me do fourths. How can you do
I was writing pictures instead of 4. So that just happened. It's like 1/4, 2/4. No, this is 1/4. This is 2/4. This is 1/4.
3/4.
Seriously, what is with me today? These are my little cupcakes.
3/4.
You know, everyone's on camera except Nicola.
Maybe 2x4.
Chris has always been one to do. Alright, so now you have, let's get rid of, what's your, okay, now, we're gonna get rid of this, let's do thirds again. We'll grab a different piece of paper for you. Okay, how many, how are you gonna divide that into 3 parts?
Let me see that.
Okay, so this is 4 inches, right?
Thanks, Chris.
Okay, so don't forget to put your inches on here
Thanks for
also.
helping me, Chris.
Okay, so this is 1/3, this is 2/3, this is 3/3. So go ahead and put your,
Is it possible to do fifths?
No, you'd have to do a remainder.
Oh yeah, you would have a remainder of 2, I believe.
So,
I'm still a little rusty on fractions.
and we want to go equal, okay? So make sure that they're divided equal parts.
the pink one is, the pink one is fourths, and the red one is,
Okay, so this is, I see 1 part, 2 parts, 3 parts. So are those fourths or are they thirds?
fourths.
So look at how many pieces I have. 1, 2, 3 pieces. So what are they? Thirds. Okay, so let's go back and change these to thirds. So this would be 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. Okay, go ahead and fix them. Okay, what do you have here? Okay, so we have 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and how many would this be at the very end? 4/4. Okay, and then make sure that you're putting your inches on there as well. Okay. Okay. So how many inches is in 4? How many inches? 3. Yeah. And that's where you're going to do your multiples, right? So your multiples are 3
Let me check.
6, 9, 12. Okay. So make sure that you have your inches on there and your fraction.
I did 2s.
Shoot, I did it wrong.
So you can do 8s because you fold it once,
Okay.
you fold it twice, you fold it 3 times. That'll be 8s. I did 2s.
Could you do fifths?
Okay.
Just kind of
So-
fold it up to make
So
it.
you did 2 inches. Is that what you're telling me? Okay. So how many parts? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 6. Okay. So this is 1/6. Can you write the fraction on there for me?
Could you do fifths?
1/6. Okay. This would be 2. This would be.
Could you do fifths?
What do you think? Does it go in equally?
No, it doesn't.
Okay. So what else could you do that's equal?
No, she was gonna do it, so I asked you.
So you were just checking for your friend? Okay, so now I want to look at this one. This says 3/12. So if you're 12, that means that if this is a 12, that means that you divided this into 12 parts. Did you divide it into 12 parts? Okay, so let's put this back on here and let's finish doing the division here, okay? So you're going to do it into 12 parts. How many parts are you going to have? So but you said you're going to divide it into 12 parts. How many 12s are in 12? How many? So how many? So there's going to be 1 inch, right, in a 12. Okay. So you need to put the rest of them on here. So this is going to be 1 12, 2 12s, 3 12s, 4 12s, 5 12s, 6 12s. Okay. But you didn't put all of them on. Because you see how you said you divided it into 12 parts? But what this looks like to me is you have 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. So what would the bottom number be? It's if you divided it into 4 parts, what would the bottom number be? Yeah.
I'm doing it the wrong way anyways.
Wait, so for the last two, do you think we can do centimeters?
I
So
don't know if we could do centimeters.
I don't know if
It's still dividing the foot.
Yeah, it is, because 30 centimeters is equal to 12 inches.
4,
So,
8,
Yeah.
what if we did
12.
an inch and a half?
Probably.
Yeah, you can't do 8. It goes 8, 16 right away.
Yeah.
You have 4,
I
and you have half.
I don't appreciate I have this kind of pencil.
16 inches is not a foot.
Is it?
And why is
It's over a foot.
Yes.
16 inches is over a foot because 12 inches is a foot.
4
That'd be
inches.
4 over because 12.
So, what if we did?
There'll be a foot
Oh, what if we did an inch and a half?
and 6 inches.
I'm not sure my pencil.
So you have 1, 2, 3, divide it by 4.
Can't do that.
Six going above. How many times?
I have the link.
Two. Okay, so could you do every 2 inches?
Yeah.
Okay, so mark it all your. So we're writing down. So we have 2, and then the next one would be
4,
4. What's the next multiple? 2, 4,
6,
6, 8,
10.
12.
You know that song? Nate, I'm supposed to be
So it looks
singing
like
right
you
now.
need some more. There's lots of strips
Gotta
here.
get back on task.
Okay. So how else could you divide those equally?
He got it.
Okay.
What are we on next?
I just finished all of them. Those are with Chris's portions.
There's still 2 left over.
You just have to go like 1, 2. Look. Nate, I'm still wondering what I should do on the last one.
I brought in the word most today.
12.
I have no doubt about it. Miss Leon, I'm finished with my. I finished all of my strips.
You've used all of these?
No.
All the colors?
No.
Okay. So do you think that's the only fractions you can make?
I would believe so.
Okay. Have you talked with everybody in your group?
I'm partners with Chris.
Yeah, we're partners of doing.
So do you, I'm sorry.
Do you think 8 can divide into 8?
All right, my friends, I would like everybody to show me active listening. Okay? And I really like how I saw people working together, and I liked how I saw different strategies being used. And what I want you to do now is we're going to put up as many different ways that you came up with to divide our ruler into equal fractions. Okay? So I am going to ask for you to raise your hand if, you guys don't even know what you're raising your hand for yet, if you have something different than what has already been shared. Okay, so starting out, nothing's been shared yet, so I would like, let's see, who have we not called on today? Yahira, could you please tell me, or bring up one of your fraction pieces, your strips. Go ahead and bring it up. And what is it divided into? What did you divide it into? 6. Okay, so we have a fraction strip that has been divided into 6 equal parts. Raise your hand if you came up with that same fraction. You divided your fraction strip into 6 equal parts. So it looks like I have quite a few of you that did 6. Okay, so I'm going to put 1/6. Okay, who has a different fraction? Okay, they divided by a different fraction. What did you use, Nate?
Besides the 2 that we already did, I did 12s.
Okay, can you bring it up here? So the next one is 1/12.
This was the one that I showed up earlier, that I showed earlier, but
Perfect.
I just did a different one.
Okay, so you fixed it, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so we're going to put that up here. So 1/6 and 1/12. Okay, who has something different? Khalid?
I have 1/8.
Okay, so you divided it into 8 equal parts. And how many inches is that?
So that would be 1/2 of an inch.
Okay, so who else came up with that? They divided by 8ths. Okay, and do you agree that it's 1.5 inches?
Yeah.
Okay, so will you bring yours up, Khalid? So
I did not do
Khalid did 8ths, and he decided I don't have to have just 1 inch. I could do 1.5 inches. Okay, so we're going to put his up here. Okay. All right, who did something different? Javier? 4. Okay, 4. Bring yours up. Thank you. So Javier has 4 equal parts. Okay, I'm going to put 1/4. So I'm going to, sorry, they're a little off. Okay, and bless you.
Thank you.
Nicola, what do you have?
Mine is sort of the same as the 6, but it's with inches and a half. It's an inch and a half. So 8. So it would be. So I would have 1/6 would be 1.5 inches, and then what?
Okay, so 1/6, and let's look at that. So let's go up to this one. 1/6 is, there's 2 inches, right? So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, and you said you had 1.5. Okay, that should be, those of you that were sitting here with Nicola, what should that be?
It should be 8 different parts.
Okay, an 8. Okay, so can you fix that one? Okay. Okay, does someone else have something that's different?
3rd.
Okay, bring it on up. Okay, so we have 1/3. Okay, so we're going to put that up here. Okay, 1/3. Anything else?
The same as Chris.
Okay, so you don't have anything different? Okay. Okay. I don't see the half up here yet. Does anybody have a half? I know we did that one together. Okay, Cheyenne, let's bring that one up. Okay. Okay. So 1/2. Okay. And Kalal?
I have a whole.
A whole. So you didn't divide yours at all.
No.
I like
it's
that.
Just a big strip.
Okay. It is one full
It has
strip.
one single labeling. That's
Okay.
it. That's what I did with this one.
I'm not sure. So
Just got big lazy
okay. So
lazy Wednesdays.
1 full. Okay. All right. Show me active listening. Active listening. Thank you. Okay. What we're going to do now is we're going to actually actually use our fraction strips to do an activity. And this activity is something that we call two-column notes. So captains, inside of your tubs, there are some white pieces of paper, and they're divided into two columns. Would you please take those out? Okay? Captains, take them out and give them to your people. No, you can keep everything at your desk. You what? I know, it's flickering. I wonder if a storm is coming in.
Yeah, it looks storms.
No.
Okay. So I need everybody to have their piece of paper out. And this is what you're going to do. So you'll notice that I have an avid heading on my paper. So would you please fill out the information that's missing? So that would be your first and last name. And the date spelled out, January. And of course it's written on the board, January 18, comma, 2017. And this is an activity in fractions. And I'm going to have you just write the word ruler, okay? Because I know that this assignment we used our ruler. Okay? Now, in the first column, there is a question for you. And in your second column is where I want you to come up with your answer. So the way that we're going to do this, I'm going to show you how to use your fraction strips. And if you use the fraction strip correctly and you put the fraction and the inches on here, it should be simple for you. Okay? But if you forgot to put the fraction and the inches, it might be a little more difficult for you. Okay? Now, if you need one of this fraction strips that we posted up here, and you haven't made that fraction strip yet, in a few minutes I'm going to let you make those strips if you need them for your assignment. Okay? So I'm going to show you how to use your fraction strips, and then I'm going to give you time to actually do this. So, the very first question, would you please read it with me? Which fraction is larger,
1/2 or 1 foot?
of a foot? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my fraction pieces, and I know that I need 1/2, so I'm going to take the 1/2, and I just want you guys to watch, okay? Just watch what I'm doing. So I'm going to take my 1/2, and I'm going to fold it in half, because I can really tell how large it is by doing that, or 1/4. And so here is my fourths that we made earlier, and I have it folded up. So now I have 1/2 and 1/4. So when I look at these two fraction strips, which one is larger? Is it 1/2 or 1/4?
1/2.
1/2. So my answer, I'm going to write it very nice and neatly so that it can be read.
And then do we do like 1/2 is greater than like the?
You don't have to, okay? If you want to, you can. You can write it out, but you don't have to. I just want the answer on this side, okay? All right. Number 2 says, what fraction is larger, 1/4 or 1/3? So here's my 1/4, and here is my 1/3. And notice how I like the folding method because it really shows me right away the sizes. So which one of these, oops, I'm sorry, which one of these is larger? Is it the 1/4 or the 1/3?
1/3.
Okay, so I'm going to put 1/3. Okay? Now, the other way you could do this is you could, not like this, but you need to make sure, actually in both cases, you need to make sure that the ends are matching up. Okay? Because if you don't match them up, it's going to be hard to tell which one. Okay? Now, I want to show you something. I want to see if you see something here. Do you see any of the fractions lining up here?
Yes.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay? Do you see any that are showing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which ones are equivalent, meaning the same size?
Well, in this case, same length.
Same size. So, Ivan, can you look at this and tell me which ones are the same size? Do you see any of the lines that line up from one fraction strip to the other? Who can help him out? I see lots of you being very polite and you're giving him the respect that he deserves to think about this. Nathan, what do you think?
The 1/2 and the 1/4, or the 2/4.
2/4, right. So you have 1/2 right here, and you have 2/4 right here. Okay? Do you notice that they are the same size? Okay? So now do you understand why earlier when I had Kalal come up and show his paper, why I wanted him to move his equivalent fraction underneath and not have it to the side?
That makes so much more sense now.
Okay, so if you were to put these all together and you used your ruler and you marked them to the inch like you were supposed to, they should line up. Now I'm going to move this down so you can see the other side here. Do any of the other numbers line up?
No.
Aubrey, what do you think?
The two out of 2.
2 halves, 4/4, and 3/3. So the 1/2, right? Okay. What I would like you to do is I would like you to work with your group, and I would like you to answer these questions. Okay, go ahead, use your strips.
Alright, so number 3. What other fractions are equal to 2? But we're not doing that anymore.
So we're not going to do that until we need it, okay? So, whose was this?
Mine.
Okay. And did I have anybody else's here?
Thank you.
You already have this.
Yeah.
Okay, so what other fractions are
So I think,
There you go.
so definitely, we can do that.
Did I have any of your guys'?
Yeah,
Which one?
Heavier. You gotta be in heavier. Mine was red.
The red one?
The only red one was pink. Which pink? There's 2 pinks. So.
That one, I'm pretty sure.
Whose is the pink?
Me. Here you go get it.
Okay, go ahead and work together.
What are the fractions are equal to 1/3
Ooh. What's the other fraction? We do 4.5 inches. No, not 1/4. I have an idea.
1/3 and a 4/8.
What other fractions are equal to
To a half of a foot. What do you guys think? What do you guys think?
Two fourths and one half, actually.
2/4 and 1/2. 3/4 actually. 3/4? That's a whole.
Two. I think I agree.
What's another one? I got one.
12 out of 24. And 32 out of 64. 32 out of 64. 32 out of 64.
How about 3/6? Yeah, I think we're ready. What? 5 divided.
No, there's no half of 5.
What about 10? 10? What do you mean 10? You could not divide it into 10 pieces. So let's go on to the next one. Okay. What other fractions are equal to a third of a foot? So get your third strips, guys.
Everything, and then we want on to
First, second, third.
okay, chill out. Wait, is this 5,000? I think we should be finished. She got everything inside of it.
And then we were smart. We got all of our things finished, correct?
Yep.
Should we name them? I want to name them. I really want to name them. I'm going to name them. 2/4, 3/6, 6/12, 4/8, 5/10, 1/2, 12/24, 32 out of 64, 50 out of 100, 500 out of 1,000. They're right there.
Oh, I forgot about that thing. I forgot about that thing.
Raise that. I'm really excited just because I love fractions. No, not too late.
So what do you guys think? I think that's it.
You hit me with the kick. I don't really care.
Okay, so just name them. Let's do 4 twice.
2/4, 3/6, 6/12, 4/8, 5/10, 1/2, 12, 32, 64, 50 of 100, and 500 of 1,000.
Thank you for naming them for the third time, Mason.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, no problem.
We have to go to number 4.
Oh yeah. What other fractions are equal to a third of a foot? And no, that's not correct.
14 out of...
No, 2/6, 2/6.
Oh yeah,
What are you doing?
See. No, I was talking to her over there, Lisi. That Lisi over there.
This would be, what is,
Okay, so yeah, 2/6.
no wait. Wait,
A half.
Don't do it. 3, 4.
Not really sure.
He said that.
What other fractions are equal to a third of a foot?
There aren't a lot of fractions. Probably 12 or 3/12.
what would be the
What?
3, never mind. Okay, that's it. Okay.
No, you can say that.
3/12?
So these are all half.
No, 3/12 is actually good.
Okay, so 3/12.
Yeah, so 3/12.
I messed up.
So these are all the answers, right? So here's a half. Okay, so 2/4 is also a half. 3/6 is a half, right? 4/8 is a half. So all of these that you could fold in half would be your half.
There's 4 minutes till the back.
Yes, I know. Thank you. Okay. All right, can I have everybody's attention? What I would like you to do as soon as you are finished with this activity, I want you to share your results with a partner, and then I'm going to wait for you. And then I would like you to do the exit tickets, okay? So I will get the door. Go ahead and finish this, and then we'll do our exit ticket.
So all of these is the right answer? What I really don't get is what?
So it will be 4/8.
4/8. He went home?
So it'll be
It's
4/8.
4/8.
Are you ready for your exit ticket? Okay.
Second, 2, 4, and a half. What other fractions are equal to 4? Just press this right.
So here is your exit ticket.